Good morning. I'm Julie Thompson, Executive Director of PACTV, and today is Wednesday at 10:30. As every Wednesday, we will bring you a special from the Duxbury Senior Center or Council on Aging. Joanne Moore is the director there. And every week we have Kay Cooney, who's an advanced practice geriatric nurse and wellness coach, who gives us tons of tips. So Joanne, I'm going to hand it right over to you to start the show.
All right, so we're so glad to have you back with us this week. And this week we're going to talk about something that I always feel like I don't do enough of, and most of you might feel the same, and that's drinking enough liquids or hydration. So Kay, can you tell us why we need to drink so much and how much we should and what we should and shouldn't be drinking?
So, girl, this is going to be a fun topic. I learned a ton researching and putting this all together. So I think I've got a lot of great info that you guys are going to love today, and it's very different than from what we've been told. I first want to highly recommend for all of you men and women out there who have not gotten back to your hairdresser or barber yet, do it. I feel like a princess today. I really do.
I'm so jealous.
Right? You should have seen me yesterday. I was like a dog at the groomers. I was so excited. And I love my hairdresser. She's so funny. So anyhow, back to water. But go get out there and get groomed. You deserve it. So let's talk about water. And boy, oh boy, do we have, this is not complicated stuff. And when you start to get into the how do we get hydrated, it's phenomenal. The first thing is, so there's this great doctor I've been following through this whole pandemic, and his name is Dr. Zack Bush, and he's triple board certified, really bright guy, really on the cutting edge, takes things down to the biological level and explains things. And I'm really enjoying him. So his last name is Bush, B-U-S-H. You can find him all over the internet. Very bright, young and up and coming doctor who's worth following and looking into. But he has a lot to say about water, and it's fascinating. He has his position on water is this, and I'm going to read you directly a quote. If we could stay perfectly hydrated in the intracellular environment, meaning in our cells, our aging would slow down, if not reverse. So for all of us out there spending a gazillion on the fountain of youth and how do we get our skin better and how do we do this and how do we stop aging and anti-aging cream and this and that, turn your faucet on is his answer. The solution is water. And that makes a lot of sense when you consider that we're like 65 to 70% water.
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing he said, which I found amazing, was about 95% of the population is dehydrated chronically.
So what does that mean exactly, Kay?
So what it means is if you actually check the cells, if you checked on a cellular level, and he used a thing called an ohm monitor, OHM, and he reads the electrical impulse on a cell level of his patients when they come in, and 95% of them are dehydrated. They do not have enough water in their cells. So the question is why? Why, how? Let's start at the basics. So what's water? So water is the mechanism in which life happens all around us, right? So whether you're talking about oceans, streams, ponds, life and water are forever interdependent on one another. Water moves the nutrients in our body through the body, right? We need it. So without water, we can't get the nutrients where they need to be in our body. So a little bit of anatomy. Okay, so your kidneys filter 55 gallons of blood plasma water a day, 55 gallons. So they are constantly sump pumping in, out, in, out, in, out. If you don't give your kidneys enough water to work with, the filtering system becomes impaired and is limited. So you're given water right off the bat for your kidneys to start pumping. Okay, so that's a step one. Okay. Now, hydration is not just about drinking enough water. It's about getting the water inside your cells. So what's the problem? We drink water, goes down the esophagus, goes into the stomach. Now it's in the GI system. Ideally, that water should now shift from the cells in our gut to the vasculature, the veins and arteries that are adjacent, and start bringing that water to the cells in the body, right? Okay, that's the basic pathophysiology of water and water absorption. Where do we get into trouble? So here we go, back to gut health, right? So if your gut is impaired and inflamed, that transfer of water to the vascular system, to the cells in your body, breaks down. That's the number one place where it's breaking down for most of us, at the gut level. What happens when you have chronic gut problems? Well, what happens is the water doesn't get over to the vascular system, and your vascular system starts breaking down. So that's another issue, problems with your vascular system. The other issue is problems in your vascular system. So if your gut's optimizing and bringing the water across, but your vascular system is impaired from cardiac disease, that also impairs the process. So for folks who have stenosis, carotid arteries, cholesterol problems, artery blockages, toxins galore in their body and in their bloodstream from dietary intake, that's one of the things that impairs hydration. Folks that do not eat well or keep their body in balance and their gut in balance, that's another way we're impairing the absorption of the water. So the whole myth of drink gallons and gallons of water until your urine turns clear is a complete and total misnomer. You're basically just pushing water in and out and bypassing the cellular system. So we want to get a little bit more strategic, because we don't want to be just having our kidneys filter everywhere, right? Now, can you guys hear me as an echo?
It's okay. It's a little bit of an echo, but not too bad.
Okay. Is that something I can fix? Am I doing that?
I hear you fine.
Okay. So just keep going.
Okay. I'll keep going. I will. All right. So let me just do vasculature and toxins. Okay. So we were talking about if you pee clear. Okay. That means absolutely nothing other than you've drank large sums of water, you've taxed your kidneys, and you haven't gotten rid of a whole ton of toxins. An ideal urination, if you will, would be a slight yellow color to it. And that would be not considering any vitamins or supplements you take, which often are excreted in the urine. But you would have a slight yellow, and the quantity would be large. So for all of you ladies out there, or folks that are taking Lasix, that avoid drinking because you can't stand the trips back and forth to the bathroom, that urgency and that continuous back and forth to the bathroom is about drinking water and processing it right out and not getting it into your cells. So we're going to talk today about how to strategically drink enough water and drink it and get it in the right ways that you're not wedded to the toilet, right? The back and forth to the bathroom is probably the number one reason I hear from people that they don't drink enough water.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
So let's address that. Let's figure our way around this. And when you listen to what Dr. Zack says, it makes a lot of sense as to why this works. Okay. So what he says is everything about hydration starts in the gut, and the microbiome that we have in our body, the bacteria, the fungi, the different things that are in the different areas of our vascular system, our cellular system, our gut system, are the ones running hydration and dehydration, and they're critical. They're sort of like the barrier guards, and decide what goes across and what doesn't go across. So one of the issues that he talks about a lot. So if you're not up on glyphosate, you will be when we're done with this. He talks about antibiotics being the number one societal cause of dehydration. Now, when I first read that, I'm like, all right, so I know antibiotics are a problem. I wouldn't have considered them the barrier, but I forget. He is a madman about Monsanto and glyphosate. And there are 4 billion pounds of Roundup and glyphosate being dumped into our food and our water annually. Wow. Now, you asked me a great question right before we started, Joanne. You said, well, if somebody's lawn gets treated, how long is those chemicals there? And the answer is probably about 20 years. So you've got every year we're getting 4 billion pounds more of this dumped on us. So can you see where the problem is? So Roundup started as an antibiotic that was sprayed on plants that protected them. And then it was discovered that it was a very effective pesticide. So it was not intended and created to be a pesticide. Now what's happening is almost every single oat product, oat cereals, granolas, things like that, you simply can't get clean oats. And for a lot of folks, what happens is during the summertime, I have this little Zyto scanning machine, so I get to see like what happens in the general population. During the summer months, people's glyphosate levels skyrocket. And it's about people eating more fresh fruits and vegetables. And yet they're trading their health because the fresh fruits and vegetables are covered in antibiotics.
So
And the go ahead.
I was going to say, if you wash them, does it get it off, or is it in the plant?
It's in the plant. So we should definitely not wash, right? We want to wash our vegetables, but we want to be more intentional about it. And some of them, we're simply not going to get it all out. We'll get some, but we're not going to get it all out. One of the things that I realized last summer when I was scanning people, so I would ask folks, do you buy organic? Right, when they would scan for high incidence of pesticide and insecticide, and the vast majority of my clients buy organic. And by the end of last summer, what I was saying to folks was, don't buy organic. Don't spend the extra money. Spend the extra money on a good vegetable cleaner, and clean your vegetables and prep them properly. Because even those that people think are organic are still being grown in soil that was contaminated 10 years ago.
So you said a cleaning product for your vegetables. What's that, Kay?
So I actually use a fruit and veggie cleaner that I buy over the counter that has digestive enzymes on it. It breaks down the waxes. It breaks down the dirt. It kills off the basic bio load. There is not much anybody can do to get pesticides out of the food other than to soak. So what I do is I do my food shopping. I fill my sink up with a cap full of this solution. And then I literally take all of my fruits and vegetables and put them in the sink in the package that they're in, and then let them soak. And then one by one, open them, cut them, clean them, package them back up into clean plastic, and then I pack them away in the fridge.
How do you feel about like blueberries and strawberries, some of those great summer favorites? Can you clean those that same way? They're a gentle, delicate fruit.
So shockingly, right? So I love that. So just so the audience knows, we don't practice any of this. So I love that question. The interesting thing is, so I always think of like raspberries as the most delicate, right? Because if you manhandle them, they turn to mush. They do really, really well being washed, and then they last longer in your fridge. So for raspberries, you know how they come in those little plastic containers with the holes in them? Mm-hmm. Those sink just fine into your sink. And then when you take them out and you just do a really gentle rinse to get all the digestive enzymes and cleaning stuff off of them, they actually hold up really well, and then they plump up nicely.
Okay.
Surprisingly. Okay. And even lettuce. So lettuce, I always have trouble with. You wash it and then it goes soggy on you. And I find it does well. Take it when it's fresh, soak it, repackage it, right? Because you don't want to clean your stuff and then put it back in the dirty package. Repackage, put it in your fridge. You'll find that it lasts longer. And there are companies like Tupperware that sell containers that will increase the life of your fruits and vegetables, which is a great tip right now where we're shopping less and less to hold on to our fruits and veggies for longer. Okay?
So how do you feel about...
He talks about...
I was just going to ask one question. So is it better than once you wash and process it just to put it in the freezer?
So some I do.
Yeah.
So I don't buy frozen fruits and vegetables anymore. What I do is when it's in season, I take it, wash it, freeze it. So I always have blueberries. So right now I'm coming to the tail end of the blueberries from last year, and they're just starting to come in for this year. Okay. And so I buy double And I eat one, wash one, eat one, freeze one.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that.
Yeah. And what I found is I found these great little silicone Ziploc baggies that you can buy that are reusable. So in terms of keeping your waste down, and they're fabulous. They prevent freezer burn.
Okay. Excellent.
So yeah, that's my tip for the day.
Thank you.
So again, so this glyphosate thing is an issue, and going after them and the whole antibiotic piece. And these antibiotics, unfortunately, are adding to our gut problem. They're killing off the good guys and leaving behind the bad guys. Then add to that almost all of our meat, unless you are doing a grass-fed free range, are being injected with antibiotics. Right? And you're like, oh God, does this never end? So it's in our milk, it's in our meat. Then, and I thought this didn't surprise me at all. Out of per 1,000 people, 833 get at least one prescription a year. So that's 83% of the population, right? Is on antibiotics at least once a year.
Wow.
Every week that you are on an oral antibiotic, you need 6 weeks of probiotic to balance it out. And if you've gone the IV route, you're looking at probably closer to 6 months of needing a probiotic.
So really a probiotic should be part of your daily life.
Absolutely, positively.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yep. And you should be switching it up, right? So you should be using different colonies in there to add new character, if you will, to your neighborhood.
Okay.
You know, we've talked about gut. Gut comes up every week, right? So paying attention to your gut is so, so, so important. Okay. So we want good gut health because we want the water to go in, to not leak out, but to nicely go over to the vasculature. Okay. Now let's talk what you can do if you're somebody with cardiac disease. And again, none of this should be surprising to us. The benefits to our body in terms of health and hydration and gut health, when we start fixing our cardiac risk factors, smoking, alcohol, diet, exercise, all play a role in hydration. Right? And truly, all of this is about getting back to basics. So, this is a generation that remembers full well what it was like before we were so dependent on chemical everything.
Mhm.
And this really is about getting back to basics. Okay, the next part's a little bit freaky. And you saw a little bit of it this week, Joanne, when we had gotten together about the whole EMF, okay, and the whole 5G and the network. So I did not realize the impact of all of the electronics around us. But when you start to think about this, it starts to make sense. So we're talking about getting water into your cells and into the mitochondria. And if you remember back to grammar school or high school, everything about cellular function was like the sodium chloride channel, right? Positive, negative ions, creating this chain, ATP being used to promote energy. None of that can happen if you don't have the right situations and circumstances within each cell. When you have the frequency, the electronic frequency of Wi-Fi, with all, and so much Wi-Fi around us, your cell phone, your tablet, your laptop, your computer. We now have Alexa and Go Google in our homes. We have electronic switches that turn our lights on. We have how many plugs in any given room? I'm sitting here in my small work office, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 9 things plugged in an 8 by 10 room. Okay. So when you start thinking about how much electricity is going on around us, and the fact that our cells are functioning through electric current themselves, do not dismiss the impact of EMF and the whole 5G network that everybody is talking about. I have friends now that have stopped using Facebook and some of the social media because of the disruption to their sleep patterns. And I have friends that will, so one of the things, so for me, being out there and being coaching and having a business, I need the social media. I need that connection to people. However, of them are shutting it off now at dinner time. So from 5 o'clock through, so that the family can sleep and get good sleep and not have their bodies disrupted, right? And what is sleep? Sleep is that time of day when all of your organ systems get in there and start repairing. Something you may want to consider for you and your family, and it's a personal choice, is do you shut off all the electrical currents in the evening?
And I've even heard not having your cell phone or your iPad in your bedroom, because when the light flashes, it disrupts your sleep pattern. So I know
Yes.
I've been sleeping a little better. I leave my phone now in the kitchen.
Yes. Yes. I've started doing that too, moving the phone far, far away from my head, out of the room. I have no TV in my bedroom. I have no computer in the bedroom. It is a, uh, we just slept so much better than using our phones as alarm clocks sitting next to our heads,
Right.
right? So anyhow, so the whole what's the whole issue with the 5G? So big companies like Google, Facebook, Amazon, people that want to understand from a marketing perspective your behaviors want as much connectivity as possible. So if you've ever searched, like if I searched right now for pink fuzzy slippers on Google Chrome, it would show up on my Instagram, my Facebook ads for that. So it's already starting to happen. I have been in large not supermarkets, stores like Filene's Basement type thing, right? Where Nordstrom's, you're walking, you see something, you touch it, you pick it up, you decide to try on a pair of specific brand sneakers. It's in your Facebook feed the next day.
Yeah, that is
So
a crazy thing.
it is freaky, and that is what 5G is all about. So in order for them to get that marketing data on personal behaviors, that's what 5G is. It means we've got connectivity everywhere. We don't need that. It is
Yeah.
not benefit. It may be harming us. So
So, so I wonder if now we'll get some ads on water and hydration after our show today.
right. So that'll be fascinating.
Yes.
Fascinating to see. Yes, I love that.
So
Um,
let's talk about how much water, because I was under the assumption I should drink half my weight in water. And I don't know, if I drank that, I might as well move my office.
Yes. So, yes, you do want about half your weight, either your weight in kilograms or half your weight in pounds, in ounces of water per day. That is what you want. How can you get it? You can get it through your food, you can get it through drinking. You can get through water, through herbal teas. That's what counts during the day. So when people go, oh my gosh, I can't do that. Here's some great veggies. Hold on one second. I'm just going to skip ahead because these are fabulous. Cucumbers, celery, watermelon, any high fiber fruits will count. So your cantaloupes will count as part of your water. Now, can I tell you exactly how much? No. But again, those are good sources of water that are attached to nutrients when they go in your body. So if you say, oh, I don't want to carry around a water bottle, and I don't, fine, just start eating your cucumbers and your celery and your watermelon and get some of it in that way.
So
Okay.
let me ask another question, Kay. So say I like to put watermelon or cucumbers in my water. Does that enhance the value and the benefit of my water?
If you eat the fiber in them after.
Okay.
So it's not just the water content, it's the fiber content of them anchored to the water that makes them more attractive, if you will.
So how about
Um,
coffee and iced tea? That's my drink of choice, iced tea. How about that?
so teas are okay, right? As long as they're not highly caffeinated, teas are generally okay because they're water, and tea is a much cleaner plant than coffee. Coffee has a much higher caffeine count to it, so it pulls water, right? So you'll find if you drink a lot of diet soda or coffee, you pee an awful lot because it's a natural diuretic. It pulls it out like alcohol. So coffee doesn't count. Coffee's not a good one. And coffee is something that if you're going to, I've never had a cup in my life. It's one of the only vices I've never taken up. And the thing with coffee is it's dirty. It's really dirty. So coffee is picked, it sits in a warehouse. It has a high percentage of mold and toxins on it. And when you're drinking coffee, one of the things you want to do is you really want to limit it. It lowers your energetic frequency. And if you're going to drink it, you want to spend the money and go organic.
So let me ask another question. I need that boost in the morning. Cup of hot chocolate, is that a better choice? A cup of tea? What's a good choice?
So if you're going to make your hot chocolate out of cacao, and so using a couple of tablespoons of cacao with some stevia or some monk fruit, that's a great cup of hot chocolate. Hot chocolate from Swiss Miss that's covered in sugar, not so much.
Okay.
And there's plenty of caffeine boosts you can get from your tea.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So let me see. So when they talk about what's going on, and how do I just go down these rabbit holes, but I'm sorry. So one of the issues with the whole glyphosate thing too, that I want to talk about really, really quickly, and the whole EMF is epigenetics. We are physically changing at a genetic level because of all of the toxins that we are exposed to. And this is impairing our ability to absorb water. Sperm count in men has decreased by 57% in the last 40 years, leaving 1 in 3 men infertile. And the chronic illness burden in children, this is mind-blowing to me. The chronic illness burden of children under 18, 52%. So 52% of our kids have a chronic illness. What in God's name is that?
Wow.
If that's not a mind-blowing number, right? So our genetics are changing. So we have got to stop and think about what's going on. The beauty of this whole coronavirus period to me is that we have watched the world sort of start to repair itself while we have been in home, right? So with no traffic, no smog, we're seeing smog decrease. We're seeing the canals in Venice filled with animals swimming. We can see the bottom of the canals in Venice for the first time in 100 years. All of these things are telling me that the world has the ability to heal itself if we would interact with it in a different way. Water, the greatest antioxidant that we have in our hands. It is the number one oxidant. So when you hear about blueberries, strawberries, goji berries, all of these things being unbelievable toxins, yes, they're wonderful. The number one antioxidizer, the thing that pulls the junk out of our body, is water. So what happens in our body? We have chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation comes because the toxins stay, right? So instead of flushing things out, they stay in our body. If they stay in our body, we get inflammation. When we get inflammation, we get leaky gut. We get problems with our veins and arteries. The way out of this is with water, right? Push, push, push the water. So water will pull the antioxidants out. Now, here's something that's really, really interesting. So if one of the things he recommends is small bursts of energy or activity that promotes sweating, because that gets all of your toxins out. But then what he says is, but make sure after these activities you shower, so you're washing them off. So if you're somebody who does a quickie, sits in a sauna from work and then throws your clothes on, goes to work and off you go, take the 2 seconds to jump in the shower and wash those toxins off. So whether it's a dry sauna or a wet sauna or a burst of activity that like jumping on a treadmill that gets the sweat going, all of those are equally good to helping get rid of your toxins and help with your hydration.
So definitely a shower, not just a quick wipe off. Just
Yes.
jump and rinse.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So he talks about making sure that you are doing what you can to get what he calls living water. Okay. So here's his recommendations for high. So this is where you want to like take your notes. Short bursts of anaerobic activity that provokes sweating. That's one. Eating your water and food, because the combination of the water with the fiber is fabulous for your gut. So your water, your cucumber, your celery, your watermelon, your cantaloupes. Great, great stuff. He talks about going outside as much as possible because nature, by its very definition, is a biome imbalance. Right now, the coronavirus isn't bothering my backyard birds. So his thing is go outside in nature, breathe in the air deeply, and
leave your cell phone at home.
exactly, and don't take pictures. Leave your cell phone in the house. A magnesium float. So I Googled this yesterday because I wanted to see where they have the nearest one to us. There are float tanks with high levels of magnesium in it that you can float in, and it's about $45 for 45 minutes to do this. We don't have any near us down here. The nearest ones were Providence that I could find. But floating in magnesium is hugely helpful in terms of getting electrolytes in on the cellular level.
Could you take a vitamin? Magnesium vitamin? Does that do the
So magnesium vitamins are almost a complete waste. You get little orally. It's through your skin that you get maximum absorption. So the alternative that's reasonable is an Epsom salt foot bath at night. So you're sitting there in front of a TV and you throw some warm water and some Epsom salt in it. It's going to help you sleep better. It will take care of leg cramps and you'll get your dose of magnesium. And boy, talk about good self-care.
Okay.
Right? So that's an easy one. And you can use magnesium flakes or Epsom salts with that. Either one is very absorbable. You want to keep healthy fats in your diet. The nuts, seeds, olives, avocado, coconut, all of those help keep your veins and arteries and they're necessary fats for building blocks in your body. You want to get your electrolytes through your skin. And again, he talks about go swim in a pond, in a lake, in the ocean. Right? Get outside as much as you can and get your water soaking. We're pretty lucky down here. Most of us are pretty close to the ocean. Right? Get in it. And even if you're not a swimmer, go up to your knees and do the splash, splash, splash all over yourself. I can remember my mother and my grandmother, never got their hair wet, but they put it all over them, right? Get to the ocean and less direct exposure to the technology. And then the final one is a merger from what he recommends and what I use with my. So he talks about putting a pinch of sea salt in distilled water. Why distilled? When you distill water and you pull out all the different salts that are in it, and the different chemicals that are not chemicals, nutrients that are in it, you make the water unstable. So I never thought of distilled water as a drinking water, but because it's so chemically off, when it goes into your body, it is so ready to start grabbing and moving and giving up hydrogen ions and picking up the magnesium and the chloride and the sodium and moving it across channels. So I do this great little recipe. Let me see if I can just pull this up for you easy. Share screen. Okay, so here is my favorite little recipe. 16 ounces of distilled water, a pinch of pink or gray sea salt. Why? So for all of you who are worried about salt because of your blood pressure, table salt increases your blood pressure. Sea salt does not. It is completely different from a chemical perspective. So any of you who are worried about holding on to water weight or have blood pressure issues should move away from the table salt to the Himalayan of a sea salt. So a pinch, right? Do that to taste. How much is a pinch? You know what a pinch is, right? Just a little pinch in. Now, the next thing that you add so that you can pull the toxins out, parsley and lemon are unbelievable detoxers. And for many people, make the water easier to drink because it's flavored. And you can do this two ways. You can do this through essential oils. So you can use 1 to 2 drops of lemon essential oil or a half of a lemon juice. Now, why do I recommend the oil over the juice? Because even our citrus continues to have toxins in it. from being grown, so that when the farmers spray for the pesticides. So that's usually why I say go the essential oil route. It's easier, more convenient. It lasts for years in your shelf, and it's no nonsense. Same with parsley. 1 to 2 drops of parsley. Parsley is a great detoxer. Most people can't puree it. And when I say puree it, I mean almost like a pesto. Most people don't want to be eating a whole bunch of parsley leaves like that. So I say go with the oil as opposed to going with pureeing it. You do what you do you. And then yep.
I was going to say, so when I make it, one drink do I do with lemon and one do I do with parsley, or do I do them together?
So the ideal is put them together, because the parsley lemon combo do a great job of boosting your immune system and the things that you need and pulling the toxins out. Can you do just parsley? Yes. Can you do just lemon? Yes. Can you do this water with neither of them in it? Yes.
Okay.
Right.
But so it's best all together.
It works. So if you could get one of these in a day, right? If I could get every single one of my folks to drink one of these a day, I would be incredibly pleased. 2 a day, I'd be ecstatic. 3 a day, I'd go hallelujah.
All right.
So
we can get some hallelujah.
Exactly. Let's do some hallelujah. Then a dash of organic cayenne pepper. Why? Because it sparks metabolism and it gets your body pumping and pulling the toxins out. So that is something that you want on your menu every single day. Okay. Now, again, like I said, you say I don't like cayenne pepper, then don't use it. I don't like lemon, then don't use it. Right? Adjust accordingly. You are not going to die because you didn't get the right combo of this. That is a nice suggestion. What else do you want to pair it with? Spring water, right? So water that is as close to the original source as possible. Filtered water will do in a pinch. And herbal teas. Those are the things. So those watery fruits and vegetables, herbal teas, water, distilled water, that counts towards your daily requirement.
Can I ask you a question? Does it matter what time of the day you drink these liquids?
So that's an interesting question. So one of the studies he was talking about, he asked his participants to drink 4 ounces of water every 30 minutes and did not see any difference in terms of, so did they absorb more when they took it with food? Did they absorb more when they fasted? Did they absorb more? And the answer seems to be no. No, just get that water in.
Okay. So really, whatever your weight is, fill up a container and you got to keep drinking till it's empty.
Yes. And you'd be surprised. It's not that hard once you get into the habit. And I think having a designated water bottle, and I think we talked about this in one of the early episodes, Yeti or Contigo have bottles that are like little refrigerators, right? They're so sophisticated now. For $30, you get a water bottle that will keep your stuff cold for 3 days, right? Throw your water in that for the day and just carry it with you everywhere you go and drink.
So does it matter hot water or cold water for your digestion, or it doesn't matter, just water?
So now there's a good question. So apparently room temperature water makes your body work less hard, right? Because it's not warming it up or cooling it off, right? It's just right. Temperature is easier, but the reality of it is it's the hydrogen ion of the water that is doing all the work and facilitating all of your minerals going in and out of your cells. So yes, they recommend room temperature, but at the end of the day, water.
Okay. So, Kay, we just have about 5 minutes left. Let me just see if there's any questions I have, or Julie, if you have a couple questions that came in?
No, I don't yet. I don't, although I'm just sitting here absolutely taking this all in. It's so interesting every single week.
Isn't this crazy though? So, I mean, we thought it was all just as simple as taking a jug of water and drinking.
Yeah, and you've done 40 minutes just on water, and it's really fascinating. It really is.
It's crazy.
This is really great information. This is good for people to research for
I was
themselves.
And just think how much money we'll save on potions and motions if we don't have to buy all that expensive cream, if we just start drinking water.
Right, exactly.
So this is the thing, right? So this guy, basically what's he selling us? Nothing. Go outside. He's telling us, go breathe the air, get in the ocean, go swim in a pond, drink water, eat vegetables that have a lot of water in them. I love that what he's not telling us is here, take this pill, here, buy this. This is about getting back to basics.
So we're close to the end. So the thing you're saying is get back to basics, drink the water, do distilled water, have hallelujah, 3 of those glasses of Kay's special power drink. Doesn't matter what time you drink during the day, just drink, and get outside, enjoy nature.
And the more you do this, the less the urination. So doing the power drink helps get that water into your cells so that you're not going back and forth to the bathroom all day long. Try it. Try it. Now, when you first start doing this, you are going to urinate quite a lot. You have so much free water in your body right now that's not in your cells that as you drink it more in, you're just going to start pushing it out. But the body will equalize. Give it time because it's that important. It really is that important to your health and well-being.
And the name of that doctor again, just so that people can look that information up at home?
His name is Zack Bush, Bush. You can find him on YouTube. You can Google him. He's a pretty dynamic, young man, and I'm really digging some of the stuff he's putting out there. I feel like he's doing a great job weeding through healthcare, right, and giving us practical solutions that are not pharmaceutical based.
Well, I'm so glad we can all leave today, add some water to our life, add some youth and vitality. And I think what everyone needs to do is get outside. It's a beautiful sunny day in New England. And if you're close to the water, go visit it.
Yes. And soak your feet. At the end of the day, all you fellow gardeners, soak your feet in Epsom salts.
So have a great week. We look forward to seeing you next week for Kay Talks. And just take care of yourself and do these helpful tips, and you'll be feeling much better in no time.
Yeah, thank you so much, ladies. Again, as always.
Thank you.
You can watch the show again by going to packtv.org/Duxbury. And we'll see Kay Talks again next Wednesday at 10:30. For PACTV, this is Julie Thompson saying good day.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye. Thank you, girl.